Good morning. This is Chris Hill, your SMAR 2020 president. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of sitting down with Bob Goldberg, the CEO of the National Association of Realtors. Bob, first, I want to thank you personally for taking time out of your day to visit with me and our members. We're going to be recording this interview so we can share it on Facebook as well as via email. So my first question is, Bob, how are you guys at NAR doing, and how is your family getting through this crisis? I hope everybody's staying safe.
Well, thanks so much. I really, appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys, and certainly the membership. Being a fellow Marylander, see, a lot of people don't realize that I actually am from Maryland and live in Clarksville, Maryland. I'm the first CEO of NAR in our 118 plus year history. There's only been 12 CEOs in the history of NAR. Not one has been from Maryland. So wow. I am pleased to say, as a Marylander who loves your area of the state a lot and eating crabs and I would say enjoying the Baltimore Orioles, but
no.
I won't say that, but being a big Baltimore Ravens fan, I am certainly all about being a Marylander. One of our members told me, Joanne Poole, who many of you know, made a comment to me years ago because we may be small, but we have it all. And I was like, you know what, I like that. So look, thanks for the question. I mean, NAR, myself, we're like everybody else. We're continuing to work hard to serve our members. All of our 300 plus employees are fully deployed. We even have call centers in Nebraska and in Chicago. And those employees are deployed obviously remotely in their homes. We have telephone systems that are set up to be able to handle the needs of our members. But everyone's working, feverishly to make sure that we still serve our members every single day. That's what we do. But we're all suffering from the same thing everybody else is, which is the anxiety personally as to what's happening in the world, what we're going to have to do to get through this. But, as I've said before, we're all in it together. It provides us all an opportunity to work together and to appreciate each other differently than we have in the past.
Yeah, I would agree. We've been dealing with that a lot lately, and all the changes that are going on. So I guess I'm going to jump into the questions that we have, if that's okay.
Yeah.
The first one, as you know, our members are being completely inundated with COVID-19 emails, reports, that with stuff, and everything's changing at a rapid pace. If you could provide the SMAR members some advice on how to best focus on what's out there and what they can put in their toolkit. If you could maybe name, the top 2 or 3 things, that would be a real help.
Yeah. So what we have found is, as NAR has gone down this journey with our members, what are some things that we can do to help make their lives better? Help them while they're somewhat holed up, like we all are, with as our businesses have been impacted, and we certainly recognize the impacts that is going on in every respective state with different governor's orders. Being that I live here, I watch, we engage very closely with the Maryland Association, the Maryland Realtors, and seeing certainly what Governor Hogan has been putting in place with the stay in place shelter requirements. So working really hand in hand with all of our state and local associations, we put together a program called Right Tools Right Now. I think that's something that every member should go take advantage of. If you go to nar.realtors /Right Tools Right Now, you'll find a program where we've teed up over 250 plus products, services, educational programs, those that lead designations and certifications and continuing education, webinars, many of which are free, many of which are at significant discounts. Already in the last 2 weeks, we've had over 30,000 members take advantage of almost 40,000 products and services for free.
Wow.
We've given millions of dollars of product benefit back to the members to be able to help themselves take additional courses or take products from us and download them for free, or other ones that are, like I mentioned, significant discount. I think those are ways that NER can help give back. When you also look at a new program we announced literally a week and a half ago, our telemed product. If you've been paying attention, which I know all of our members have, when you watch the briefings going on with Dr. Fauci, the CDC, the Surgeon General, the first thing they all tell you, even the administration, if you have an opportunity to use a telemed service, a doctor that you can get access to versus running into an emergency room or running into your doctor's offices and clogging up the system, especially for things that are not COVID-19 related.
Right.
Teledoc and telemed type programs are phenomenal to be able to take advantage of. So what NAR did, and I give our leadership and our finance committee a lot of credit for this, when we teed up the idea, when I went to them and said, look, we have one of our medical healthcare providers offering a telemed program, why don't we offer something to our members at a discount or benefit? So we decided that we would pay for every member that wants to join for 2 months free. So you can sign up for yourself and your families to use a telemedicine benefit. And again, just go to nar.realtor/telemedicine, and there's a registration there for you to do this. And it gives you access for you or your family or both to over 2,300 physicians 24/7. Now, the beauty of it is we're already hearing from members who didn't have direct access already to a telemed. Some insurance providers do have access already. Medicare also provides it. But if you don't have access to those things, NAR felt it was important to provide our members with that benefit. And simply just go on, register, and it's free for those 2 months. If you want to continue it, which again is certainly the member's option if they want to, typically a program like this is like $15 a month for a family. We've got it actually at $7 a benefit for families. NAR makes no money on this. It is not a money-making kind of thing. We felt it was important that one of the best things we can do on behalf of our members is caring about the health and welfare of every one of our members, and to make sure that we're hopefully making a difference in their lives as much as we can. So it's an important benefit. So all of these right tools right now, I would just really say to all members, go in, take a look at it. You may find some courses that you wanted to do or some designations that you wanted to do. We have webinars. We have financial wellness program that's a free program to help people figure out new ways of dealing with things. So that's one area. I think also it's worth mentioning, we have a hotline that if members want to call and get information, not only on anything that NAR is doing on products and services, but on the pandemic, on COVID-19. We have a hotline. I'll tell you what it is. It's 1-800-874-6500, 1-800-874-6500. Members can call that number as well and have access to a live member support representative who can help them through and point them to places. And also, if you want to get updates on what's happening with the CARES Act, the stimulus program that the administration and the House and Senate approved that's just been rolled out there, you can text NAR at COVID-19 30644 and get regular updates on those items that impact our members every day. Like, how do I apply and where do I go for pandemic unemployment assistance, which we know is a big deal? Or how do what's going on with the Small Business Administration loans or mortgage forbearance? All those issues that, by the way, NAR has been front and center with the administration, with the Treasury Department, with the Department of Labor on all of these things and how they impact us as an industry. is because NAR is up there front and center every single day. It's not just a matter of sending a letter out. It's a matter of us using the contacts and the people that we know in our advocacy area of
Right.
making sure that we're protecting our industry.
Yeah, that's first of all, that's awesome. All that I mean, it's really nice to hear it from you and know what it is that that's available to us. But seeing NAR at the forefront's really, part of one of the greatest benefits of being a part of this association. I'm just on and just because I had a bunch of questions for you, and I don't want to miss any of them. You know what I mean? But so, what are you hearing or seeing in terms of short-term or long-term effects of this pandemic? What do you think they're going to have on not only our membership, and I'll say from an association standpoint, our numbers, but also to to the actual realtor on the street out there buying, helping consumers?
Yeah. Well, I follow every day the stats. Brian, who you interviewed as well, from Bright. I've known Brian forever. His former boss, David Sharon. David hired me in this industry 35 years ago, back when Bright used to be part of, when PRC was the big vendor back in the day. That was my background. And so I follow the Bright statistics literally every single day when Brian puts them out. We also, NAR owns CentralLock, which is a major lockbox provider, certainly in the Maryland area as well. And so I get the reports every day as to how many lockboxes are literally being opened for showings. So we have an idea of foot traffic.
Right.
So no secret, foot traffic way down. No secret that open houses, the way we certainly understood them, way down because the world has changed. But real estate has still continued to move forward. I can tell you that in many cases around the country, March was actually higher than March a year ago in terms of closed sales. Now, I think that is still a lagging stat. So what's the future look like in the immediate future? So I depend a lot on our chief economist, Dr. Lawrence Yoon. Lawrence, who I work with, he's my economist. Lawrence is predicting that the paradigm that was before the pandemic, which was very low inventory, low interest rates, that's still going to play once this starts to ease. And when this eases, there's still lots of buyer demand, especially in a lot of the major markets. Interest rates continue to be historic lows. Listings are not going to suddenly just flourish out of the blue where there's a major increase in inventory. There will be some, but all the fundamentals that were there before this started, he's projecting that will still be there, assuming this starts to ease in the summer and the fall. If it's a worst case scenario where, everything's shut down for a year, blah, 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 well, I think all bets are off for everything in the economy. And we all have a much bigger problem if that's the case. But seeing that if there's progress being made, and there seems to be some, what that means in terms of opening up some of the restrictions and getting things back to some normalcy or the new norm. So yes, sales will be down for the year, but only slightly is what his prediction is. So he doesn't expect it to be way down. Maybe, I think he told me yesterday, maybe 5%, 10% worst case. And considering that it was just a huge pause in the middle. So the, the forecast is still bright. If in fact the fundamentals of the pandemic start to ease and the economy opens back up. From a membership perspective, and I was just on a call all day yesterday with NAR's Finance Committee, because we're about to go to our NAR Board of Directors with our membership forecast for 2021. And that's important as we all budget to provide services for our members. And give you an idea, we had originally forecast for 2021 nationally 1,375,000 members. We took that down for 2020 to 1,340,000, which we're about right on target for. Okay, so now that's because many of the members had paid their dues earlier in the year. Our projection now for 2021 is still bullish based on feedback that we're getting. So we're taking that number down, and we're presenting this to the board of directors of NAR, a national membership number of 1,300,000. So still a very hefty number. Like we said, there's a lot of pin-up demand we know for real estate. There's still listings being taken. So we think the business is still positioned with a strong economy. And the fundamentals that Lauren said that make this different than what happened in the recession in 2008 and 2009 is the real estate market was running at 150 miles an hour, and it went to zero because of not the economy, because of this pandemic. Right. So assuming the pandemic eases and the fact that we've injected over the $2 trillion in stimulus money to keep things moving, and there is a stimulus 4 coming that will inject trillions more, that the economy's strength will still be there enough that when things start opening up and employment starts coming back, that we still feel very bullish as an association. Now, we always put the caveat, we have a right to amend,
right.
But we still feel that there's still optimism in the world of real estate when you poll the home buyers and sellers who are still out there. They have not gone away. They're still saying, I'm just waiting and pausing.
Right.
So if this isn't long lasting to a total shutdown, I think that there's opportunity that we'll all have more positive results as we go forward for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, nobody has the crystal ball, right? I mean, if we had it, might think differently. But so, it's funny is I just did my first virtual walkthrough where the seller actually walked through the house and the buyer asked questions on their phone. And that was one of my questions. Do you see this virtual business being a part of that new normal? I mean, you and I are sitting here on a Zoom call, and quite honestly, I may not have had the opportunity to meet you in person except for maybe once or twice for a year. So,
I think your question, Chris, is spot on, because I think the world, the new norm, will be totally, I won't say totally different, but it will have elements that we've never thought about before. Now, some progressive players in our industry, we're doing virtual open houses, and this industry's been doing virtual walkthroughs of homes and tours and three-dimensional plays. But I think the fact that have to be reliant on using those as common tools, I think help expand our business and expand how all businesses work. Here's a good example. Like you said, we're doing this right now. We should have done this a year ago.
That's true.
Right? I was saying, I meet every week with all 50 CEOs, my peers, from all the states and territories in the United States, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, and Guam. And I'm on the screen with all 50 plus of them. And I'm like, why was it, I have 2 annual meetings with them a year. Why wouldn't I just do this every week or at least once a month? We're doing an event this Friday that's going to be announced today for all local folks like yourself, local presidents and local association executives, where NAR's leadership team and myself are going to have an open Zoom event where we can answer questions. And you're looking at it going, wow, how do we better engage with 1,200 local associations? Right. Well, we should have done that anyway. So I think that this is true with our practitioners. that there's elements that they're doing. We have brokers today. One of our largest brokers in the country, who happens to be on our leadership team, Charlie Opler, will be next year's president, was saying in one of his Sotheby's offices that they did 100% sell of a home. The person hasn't even been in the house.
Right.
They bought it sight unseen. Now that's still more the exception, but they bought it sight unseen. It's 100% virtual closing. They put an addendum on the contract that said they at least have a right to go in, at least before they close, to view the house, that
Right.
it actually is what you represented it to truly be. You didn't fail to show me that one room that has mold all over it. But that it says I have a right to at least go in there. Certainly there'll be an inspection, blah, blah, blah. These are things that can be done without a lot of people in there, and that they want a closing date. And so I think those will be more norms that people will utilize because they've had to. We've worked hard where there are many states now, and I forgot the total, that we're working with the state associations, but also at a federal level to ensure that remote online notaries to help in the process. We've already pushed things like DocuSign and e-signatures. So there's 37 states today that have deemed real estate as essential, which means the business is still continuing, albeit in a different way. But I think the message that we're all seeing here is that innovative practitioners and entrepreneurs learn how to manage businesses in a new paradigm. And this is just forcing that to happen faster. And I think consumers will demand both electronic and virtual opportunities, as well as in person when that makes sense as well. So I think we're going to come out of this, and I know everybody says, oh, we'll come out of this stronger. I think we'll come out of this more efficient and with broader opportunities to expand our businesses. Yeah, so I think that's the upside of this.
You know, I've heard that I've heard that from multiple people. The more efficient part has been really the biggest thing. We'll come out of this more efficient, I think. I totally agree with you. So do you think, since like we just mentioned all of those, things is NAR, I know we're doing our legislative conference going to be changing. I think we're going to hear more about that or in days ahead. Is NAR adopting more virtual things like this to, members in Southern Maryland we're at an advantage. I mean, we're a little closer to you guys than most, but do you think that opens up opportunities for NAR as well?
Yeah, it's interesting that we are doing our mid-year meetings, which are always in Washington. It's going to be a virtual conference. Information is going to be released to all the membership in the next week or so with registration on how to take advantage of this virtual event. But it will work very similar to an in-person event. We'll have featured speakers. We've got, and there's some pretty big name players that will be a part of this. Our committees are going to be meeting, again, virtually on Zoom or other video opportunities. We're going to advance motions through committees the way they always did on the governance side up to our executive committee, who will then take a vote on it, and then to the board of directors. And this will all work the same as if we were all sitting in a room. The difference being that we'll have electronic voting systems in place that will allow people to vote and validate who you are when you do your virtual vote, so we'll know real time. By the way, those tools have been there. So now we're going to put them in place. We were pretty advanced at NAR at our board of directors meetings a couple of years ago when we went to the electronic voting systems, even in person. So all we're doing, these handheld devices, now we're actually going to do it online. We're doing something that's never been done before. The first order of business of our board of directors by Constitution is that elections have to be held. And we have a treasurer's election, a national treasurer's election. So both candidates will be putting forth a video. The video will be done, and then the board of directors will vote on it right there virtually. So we'll be doing all the things that we would do. We're setting up video conferences right now with members of the Hill, House and Senate, as well as administration folks, to talk to their constituents as though you were doing a Hill visit, except
Wow.
now you're doing your Hill visit virtually. So where does all that go? I think it expands our reach, because I think what will happen is, my bet is, and I'm pretty certain I'll be right on it. There's a few times I'm wrong. My wife tells me that regularly. We usually will get 8,000 people to a mid-year meeting. I'll bet we get tens of thousands of participants for a mid-year meeting. So when we return to what is ever considered the new normal, like at a convention, like our annual convention in November, which we haven't still yet decided if that's in person or not. But imagine a situation where, okay, you have your convention, it's in person when the time is right for that, and you're also 100% virtual with it. So now instead of 25,000 people coming to your annual convention, you have 100,000 participating. There are all those that will still want to come to the city that you're doing a convention in, but we'll broaden it. We've always done some FaceTime or live streaming of certain events. What about if we said, look, because my feeling is, and I think our leadership believes the same thing, I'd rather have 15 people at a live meeting and 100,000 engaging real time this way, as opposed to just getting 20,000 showing up at an event and that's all that's there. So the more we engage and you do things like we're doing here today, I think that better serves our industry and our members, helps us all better, and it certainly helps me as a CEO and my leadership team and my staff listen better, because we have no choice but to be in front of our own cameras and listening to what our members are telling us, and that is the most important part.
That's it's so awesome you say that. I mean, we try to be a proactive association down here in Little Southern Maryland, and I think we're hyper involved in trying to availing that, you're really availing the opportunity to far more people that maybe aren't able to attend either, so I applaud you for that. I think that's really a great approach, and I think it's wonderful for us. So I guess in closing, Bob, and I definitely didn't want to keep you, and I appreciate your time so much. Is there like one I guess that was a positive insight, but is there one positive insight that you could give the Southern Maryland Association of Realtors moving forward, that, one little bit of information that you think we could really, I don't know, inspire us to keep doing what we're doing?
I really do love that question, because that question has been asked to me in a couple of interviews. And I think that we're in a unique situation, but I think it will become the norm where we can continue to help each other. We exist as a national association, and what I try to convince people of, or certainly communicate, that NAR is not like just this entity. NAR is all of us. The National Association of Realtors, we're the largest trade association in the world, 1.4 million members strong, but every member counts. And I know it's easy to say that in a world of a democracy where we say every vote matters, but every voice does matter. And so I think using the opportunity, I would say to every member, stay engaged with your local association more now than ever, because this is where associations shine. When things are going well, it's a second thought to most of us, which is, well, my association. But when things are tough, that's where the dues dollars that have been paid really pay off more than ever before. We have an opportunity to listen to what our members are going through. We care about what our members are going through. We use that and turn it into action. The things that are going on in the Hill, I will tell you, the pandemic unemployment insurance program that helps independent contractors would not have happened had NAR, with our relationships with the Department of Labor and the Department of Treasury and the administration, would have been very difficult to have ever been brought forward by in this CARES Act. So those voices where people say, what about me? This is an opportunity that this should be our new norm as associations, listening to what our members are saying to us, engaging. I would say to every member, listen to people like Chris every day as a president, and take the opportunity to hear what your local association is doing. You know, in Southern Maryland, I'll give you my little tidbit. 30 plus years ago in my career, I sold you guys one of your first MLS systems.
Wow.
Back in the day. I mean, I was down there doing demonstration. I was early in my career. I worked for the largest MLS vendor, and the Southern Maryland Association was part of, it wasn't called Bright in those days. It was Southern Maryland, PG County, and Arundel, all had their system. And I worked with the respective association executives. I think the association exec back in the day was Lyle Sackey. You know, so I was doing presentations down there. So it's a special place in my heart. So I do want our your members, which are also our members, to use this opportunity to get involved in ideas and suggestions to make us all better. We're all ears. And I'll close with this. I always say this: there's a reason why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. That is, listen more than you're talking.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. So, and Bob, again, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to meet with us this morning. I was, you know, I appreciate we had technical difficulties, so nobody noticed, but I really appreciate this. You know, it's a unique opportunity. Us at SMAR, we're trying to be proactive and original. And honestly, I can say that our association in general hasn't worked any harder ever in its history, I think, than right now to be a voice for our members and do the right thing for them. And I'm sure you're doing the same up there at NAR. So again, I want to thank you. Can't thank you enough. And and as a member of this association and for our industry, I want to thank you. You know, this is really trying times and historically trying times. And for us to have good leadership at the helm is, I think, critically important. So thank you for that again. And with that, I guess we'll just end.